I was born in a small village in Pahang nearly 50 years ago, and my parents were simple village folks, not with fancy jobs and titles, but it was enough for our big family. I have 5 brothers and 2 sisters, and I'm the fourth of 8 siblings. Growing up, my skin was dark and darker than everyone around me, and everyone was making fun of me. Sometimes I felt embarrassed and angry, but luckily I was never deeply depressed. I chose not to take them seriously, but instead I built a dream and held on to it strongly to study abroad where it's nice, cold, and gloomy just to get my skin fairer. Well, that was what I believed as a kid. And I think it worked a little bit, don't you think? But to get there, I need to have a plan, I thought. And I need to get into one of the boarding schools to have the opportunity to go, since my parents were not well off and can sponsor me there. This is to get scholarship, that is. And I was blessed with a sharp brain and quick to catch things taught to me. I have a photographic memory as well, and some people say it's a curse, but I don't think so. I excelled in all the subjects in school and always was at the top of the chart, and I thank God every day for this. I gave absolute focus at school, absorbing like a sponge in classes. Then finally, I managed to get into one of the best boarding schools in the country. And I thought, one hurdle passed. Checked. I've always loved science subjects at school, and they were my cup of teas. And we babies born in 1970s, at the time, everyone in school wanted to be either a doctor or an engineer. And I chose to be a doctor first. For the glam of the title, of course. But hold on, here's the story of why I'm not a medical doctor today. Back in Form 4, one of my friends got her crooked tooth extracted from the gum. And when I go and see her to see how she was doing, I look at the wound and I felt really weak in the knee and nearly blackout. And at the time, I wondered what was wrong, and I tried to test myself again. I went out of the room and went back to see the wound, and it happened again. So that fateful day, I knew I was not cut to be a medical doctor, and the plan went down the drain. And that time, I need a new plan. So just like I said, it was either an engineer or a doctor, right? So then it was time to choose the specific field of engineering. And since I like chemistry so much, I chose chemical engineering. And guess what? I was deceived. Chemical engineering has very little to do with chemistry, for your information, and it has everything to do with maths and physics. So at the time, we did not have the internet, we didn't have Facebook, Instagram, or Google. So we made simple choice and sometimes reckless ones every day just to get by. But luckily, it was not that bad for me because I am good at maths and physics as well. So finally, after SPM and A-level, I was sent to England for chemical engineering degree in 1997 with a full scholarship. So my dream came true and I loved the evolution in me. If you can see in the picture, I evolved from the dark-skinned girl to what I am today. And after a few years in England, a master and a PhD, here I am today teaching chemical engineering to you young Malaysians and foreigners. But not only teaching, we lecturers have to do research, write books, and publish journal papers. And these are all hardcore science work, and I love it. My specialization is chemical engineering separation processes with a specification in freeze concentration research, which is a process to concentrate solutions using cold separation technology at sub-zero temperature. So the idea is to remove water component from any solution as ice crystals because the formation of the crystal lattice actually rejects all impurities. So all taste, nutrition, aroma, and VOCs will stay in the liquid. And this process is highly recommended for concentration of liquids or solutions sensitive to heat where evaporation is not applicable. It can be applied for food preservation, vegetable and fruit juice concentration, as well as water purification like desalination and water treatment. I was actually the first in Malaysia doing scientific research in this field. And science-wise, I think I have attained some considerable achievements, although not much compared to other great professors in UTM or in Malaysia or in the world generally. But so far, I have written 1 book, 2 book chapters, and nearly 150 international journal and conference papers. I am now the Deputy Director of the Institute of Bioproduct Development, one of the leading Center of Excellences in UTM, and I am also the Head of Advanced Material and Separation Technologies Research Group, also called MSET. And one of my greatest achievements for me is when I was able to graduate 4 PhD students and 2 master students in less than 5 years. And I have also won a few gold medals in national research exhibitions. As I said in the beginning, we are going to talk about finding the balance between science and language. Or do we do both? Okay, so is just science enough? Is it important to have excellent linguistic capability and literacy as well, especially English, the most spoken language in the world? So how many of you find it difficult to learn the language? Are you shy to speak and worried when asked? If you have this problem, please stay tuned because this talk might be useful for you. So personally, apart from my exciting science adventures, I have always been extremely passionate about English, this beautiful second language, and I never stopped learning. I'm not a language expert per se today, but I am now the officially appointed language expert in my faculty for more than 10 years already now. And all the abstracts for final thesis publication must be checked and verified by me first. And I am also one of the proofreaders listed in SPS UTM website. And I also do proofreading services for journal papers, theses, and dissertation. I do translation from Malay to English and vice versa, and video transcription as well. And I have won a few Best Presenter Awards in international conferences in England and Istanbul, among others, recently. And I am also in the board of editors for a few international journals as well. I am now constantly called to give talks on English communication skills, proposal defense, and writing to students in many various entities. As for my formal English education, it was just through primary and secondary school and a little bit in pre-university classes. So when I was in primary school, I remember one of my English teachers asked me, Mazura, do you speak English at home? And I said, unfortunately, no, teacher. Is there anything wrong? Then she asked, then how come your English is so good? And I said, I don't know, teacher, and I just laughed. But honestly, I did not know. My parents do not speak a word of English, maybe just a yes and no if they do. And looking back, trying to remember my lifestyle at the time when I was a kid, nearly 40 years ago, I had no extra books to read other than the ones given by the teachers in class and the textbook. And I also had no extra coaching for the language. I did not speak in English with my parents and siblings. We still don't, by the way. And there was no internet and Google Translate. So what brought in the skills in me? I was thinking, and finally I can narrow it down to two things. One is my teacher's education delivery in classes, and the other one is, guess what? I watch a lot of TVs and cartoons particularly. So everyone go watch a TV. So when I grow older, in high school, I read books, I read novels and newspapers in English from the school library. And the tip when you're reading is to ignore words you don't know first, but just make an assumption of what the meaning is. And then when you read along, if you feel like the assumption is quite off, then you go and confirm it in the dictionary. If you keep looking at each word you don't know in the book, you will be tired and in the end you will be demotivated. So don't do that, and please read a lot because this will increase your vocabulary. And as for me, my favorite authors are Dan Brown, Jeffrey Archer, Daniel Steele, but my most favorite is Sidney Sheldon. And other things that I did was I love to watch English movies up till now. And my favorite kind of movies are heavy dramas, investigative movies, suspense and thrillers. And what I suggest you do when you're watching movies is to turn on the English subtitle, not Malay, Chinese, or Tamil, because when you turn the English subtitle on, you will get 2 times of learning, one through your listening, and the other is through reading. So the knowledge will be stronger in you. I also would love to know. I also always would love to know the proper pronunciation of words. So, for example, determine, not determine, high, not high, and subtle, not subtle. So you can always Google all these words. You can just type down how to pronounce determine, and it will show you the button to press for American or English accent, and you can check it out in YouTube as well. And for you young people, youngsters, you can try to play games, computer games that communicate with people around the globe, like Mobile Legends, Roblox, or PUBG. But don't get too crazy because you still have to take care of your academic performance. Just play to get the language skill and to have some fun sometimes. And other things that you can try is try to think in English and talk to yourself in English, because I don't talk to myself in Malay. I talk to myself in English. And I suggest you have more international friends. I believe all of you at some point will have international friends in classes. Do celebrate them because there are it's advantages for you, because when you're talking to them, you cannot use your native tongue, your native language. And please learn grammar and sentence structure because this will be useful for you in writing. Not that anyone will laugh at you when you speak with bad grammar and sentence structure, but it's important for your writing skills. And please also join English-speaking organizations around you, like clubs, societies, for example, Toastmasters and TEDxUTM communities, maybe. So it's one of the most spoken languages in the world and common tongue of business, education, and entertainment. Learning English is nearly a necessity these days, and it's not an option. So some other thing you can do is go travel. Plan a trip to an English-speaking country like Australia, UK, USA, Canada, New Zealand. And don't be shy when you're there. Don't be afraid to talk to passers-by. This is to gain real experience. And don't worry about making a mistake. No one will laugh at you, believe me. And as for me, I'm lucky enough. I have traveled to the UK, Australia, Hong Kong, Thailand, Vietnam, Korea, and a few others, including Saudi Arabia. And I am deeply, deeply thankful for the opportunity. And the other thing that you can do is to set goals, because setting goals is the first step in turning the invisible into the visible, like what Tony Robbins said, the famous life coach and motivational speakers. And when you're setting a goal, please make it tangible with a specific time to acquire something. For example, you want to read a book in a month, something like that. So, guys, we are nearly to the end of my speech. Just remember to keep trying and don't give up. Although it is often considered as one of the most difficult languages to learn, with the right attitude, commitment, anyone can do it. And as for me personally, I will continue strengthening my language knowledge and skills. And now, around this time, I wish to educate and train young minds for the language skill sets. And I'll continue to give talks to grow talents. And I wish to contribute all I can. And my hope is I would be able to keep the balance in place, not only in science and language, but in everything in life. So it's so nice being here with you today. I hope to see you guys again soon. Thank you and bye.